Great to be here with you doing your June 2020 readings. Yeah, welcome to All Love TV. I do these monthly and weekly readings. Sometimes I come on live and talk about spiritual awakening, transformation. I'm an empath and intuitive introvert, so I have a fairly unique perspective. And I have a book that I published a few years ago that's helping people sort of maybe understand their emotional body with a little bit different perspective than the mainstream. And I have a series of online courses promoting veganism, zero waste living, unplugging from mainstream media news, and ultimately unplugging from any people, places, thing, or external information that doesn't resonate with your higher self and your soul. And that can often be a big part of our spiritual awakening process, is becoming super sensitive, like suddenly becoming very aware of our connectivity and unity ultimately. And that requires us to ascend. It requires us to become self-responsible, which essentially means you are responsible for your feelings and your thoughts. As a planet, we're undergoing this great awakening as a paradigm shift. It's like a quantum leap in our evolution ultimately as well. And even though it feels like awful sometimes, and even though it's really kind of mind-blowing and confusing and really weird and all of that stuff, actually the more you do the inner work, the better it gets, the better you feel, the more aligned you become, and then you kind of understand manifestation from a higher perspective, which makes it easier, and on you go. So you just become a better feeling, more radiant human. So it's all good essentially, and yet the energies are super potent right now because, well, we're now in the sort of manifestation of the global awakening. So it's like more and more people basically being like, "Yeah, what is life?" and having an existential crisis. So, okay, let us have a look at these cards. OPHIUCHUS, again, I'm an intuitive, so all of my work is basically guided by intuition. Which is also, I would say, part of this new paradigm energy and reclaiming our divine feminine aspect. So we then realign our actions from that more nurturing, loving, and self-respectful place. So right off the bat, we have. I feel like you've been waiting for some messages, and by June they start coming in quite quickly. Messages that are you anticipating moving to calmer waters, rising out of conflict, rising out of like being in situations where people abuse their power, or you being in that environment where you're witnessing people abuse their power. It's right now your energy is like holding its own. You're being asked to kind of ground that in so that you can build up your strength. Right, this is feeling kind of specific. I feel like first there's this King of Swords reverse. Now I feel like for some of you this could be like someone in your life that you're starting to realize maybe isn't good for you and you need to cut them out. Maybe that's part of the strength. And again, these things can feel so harsh, and it's creating distance so that we can see something with greater clarity, right? And I feel like it's like you're approaching this King of Sword energy. This could be an authority figure, a boss, a father figure. It is obviously a king. Of course, with general readings, we know that we can kind of like crisscross the genders. Although, I mean, with the new paradigm community, this more than being a man or a woman, this has to do with the energy that they exhibit. So this is a masculine energy that is in a position of power, that has like a really sharp mind, a sharp intellect, and yet he's in the reverse. And so it would again, from this perspective, this means that this person isn't in their heart. They're not empathic, right? They're not, which is probably why you're like, there's this movement happening in your life. The Five of Wands is representative of change. You've got the infinity symbols. You've got two major arcanas, and the star card is over here. So you are in a major transition, a major change with the Eight of Wands, messages coming in, movement with the Six of Swords, and yet Okay, but here's the thing. It's like all this stuff starting to shift and morph, and you're just going, oh wait. This is part of the new level of awareness and clarity in this community, right? For so many of us doing this inner work for so long, and then whoa, like pennies dropping, like insights really vibrationally like becoming so obvious. And so you're really like, right now it's like you're holding your own. It's like you're not moving. You're kind of taking stock of what you have, people that are around you, things that you desire, and yet energies you're having to sift through or maybe walk away from, hence this kind of conflict energy. Essentially, Ophiuchus, this reading is really all about you stepping out of abuse patterns fully. And it would appear to me that you've overcome a lot, that you're coming out of conflict, and yet you're digging in for deeper strength, because this is like, you know, a father wound. This is like, you know, that boss, that energy of power struggle. And yet you're coming through to me as this Four of Pentacle energy, like, you know, what's the best course of action right now? And the King of Swords, which would have been somebody that would have been your dominant, right? This is somebody you projected power onto, and yet you're being guided in this reading anyway to find deeper strength, because you are going to have to face the situation and or have that conversation and or walk away and deal with their, like, why aren't you coming into blah blah blah, or why aren't you doing it like you used to, and you're going to have to face that to claim your star power. That's we know in June we're coming into the super potent eclipse portal. There's three major eclipses closing off the nodal transit of the Capricorn Cancer, and then moving us into the Sagittarian and Gemini energy. And of course, there is this layer for so many of using your voice and being able to communicate these things that are coming from love and compassion, and ultimately coming from self-respect. And then if these people are not able to receive or not able to own or blah blah, it's like that's the cue. That's the cue to just follow your flow, follow your star power, follow your North Star, basically. This isn't a time, like this Gemini aspect and like where we've come as a collective and where we're coming into, this isn't a time to the people pleasing. This isn't a time to deny your soul spirit. This isn't a time to like pretend like you're not getting those signals, right? This is a time to fully look at what's going on and like own it all. And regardless of what it looks like, set your intent, set your emotional frequency to that imaginative intent, that vision of that better life that you're creating for yourself. Because the star card is this, I'm hearing it's a star, it's a card of promise. So it's saying like you're still having to sift, and like these eclipses might be really rather powerful, that can bring stuff up. That's that Five of Wands energy. There could be some fiery exchanges. There could be a little bit of like backlash, which is where this like strength is like, dig in now. But choose yourself. Ultimately choose your imagination, choose your vision, choose, like, it's that moment in the movies where it's you're just like, I'm thinking of that movie Jerry Maguire, or that movie maybe Office Space or something. Those moments where somebody's like, fuck you, I'm out. Like, as in, I've had enough and I'm not dealing with this. Whatever it is, right? Without blame and attack, whatever, you've put yourself in a situation and now you're going to free yourself from it. Star card is also reflecting that this is a karmic release. This is and it's not just this life. It's like, this is a very potent time on this planet, right? Like, this is ages of a darkness, of a different perspective, of a growth, of an expansion, and yet we're in this portal of monumental growth and expansion in the most beautiful and intelligent ways, ultimately. So yeah, so fix your gaze, fix your point of attraction, and be willing to go within and really get clear on you, so that you can, at some point, possibly nearing the end of the month, you can start to invest. You can start to decide how to direct your energy, right? And ultimately, when we speak of energy in this community, certainly we speak of your manifestation. You know, you're bringing your higher self into this planet, into this manifest reality, the pinnacle, and yet you're realizing how sacred and how pure and how precious your energy is, and which is also likely to be bringing in more pinnacle. It would just appear there's this sort of sort of intense situation that's gonna come up. I just want one Osho card. Yeah. So there's, yeah, you're letting go. You're letting go of these situations, these wounds. I this is an 8 as well. A lot of infinity and 8s. It's, you're choosing your infinity self, right? You're letting go of old patterns that you're seeing that don't serve you now. And there is a greater sense of understanding over there with the star cards. You're rising your energy whilst still in this quite potent processing of letting stuff go, which means it may be an emotional month, and yet you can be rest assured that you are rising. You do want to, you know, anchor into that strength for this process, or for that conversation, or for that meeting, or whatever you're gonna undertake this month. So massive love, massive love, my lovers, massive love for my OPHIUCHUS lovers. You guys are amazing. Again, if you want to book a private reading, you can check the description. There's lots of information about Ultra Love and the services and the products I provide for you guys, to continue to support the Ultra Love movement. I love you guys loads. Have a great day, and I'll see you next month, if not sooner.